lead the way. Don't let anything I think I can create a new page in the life you've given to me. You can hold, you can mold. Have my heart for even if that's the light you show. So I wrote into who you made me to be. It's okay. So for the drums, it's very basic and simple. It's the same rhythm through the whole time. It's very, it has texture to it, so it's a good kick to have. Then I had a snare sound. That's the main snare sound. And then in the chorus, it gets layered with another snare sound, which is this snare sound on every other snare hit. It's a clap. Then I had hi-hat. It's the same hi-hat rhythm through the whole time. I tried to make it a bit of variation by having these tiny notes that play in sometimes. And then I had a hat loop to add in as well. And the hat loop is added so that there's a bit of variation in the hi-hat between the verse and the chorus. And then there's another hi-hat loop, or top loop, not a hi-hat loop, but just a top loop. I think that added something to the main sound as well. It added something to make it sound a bit like bouncy and jumpy. And then there's an impact sound that happens at the start of every chorus. And then there's just a variety of different rises and sweep. And one of them is literally a meowing cat. And that is the drums. For the bass, it is a Reese bass in the chorus, but the main bass throughout the whole time is just like the same thing playing the entire time on these two instruments. This first one from Alchemy, and I added distortion and compression on it. And there's Layer that I added also from Alchemy, and I also added distortion and compression. And this is a MIDI. It doesn't follow the root notes. It's kind of its own melody in the bass. And then for the bass, Reese bass, I added octaves in the Reese bass in the chorus. And it's not a very low Reese bass, but it's something, and that basically helps to make it more full in the chorus. So for the chords, these are the chords in like different voicing. So this is the main chord sound that I got from Alchemy. It's very plucky, and it has automation in the beginning of the pre-chorus so that it leads into the verse. And then I also had this layer, which is also from Alchemy. It's very high, and it's filtered so it adds some texture to the high end. Then I also had these pizzicato sticks. And that's just to add to the bounciness of it. And this is just another pad. Very high-pitched pad. And then this is also another pad, which is different from the verse, because in the verses, it doesn't have that. But then in the chorus, it does have it. So that's the difference between the verse and the chorus. And then the last thing that I had for the chords is this, which is just an ARP. So that is the whole of the instrumental. For the vocals,
Okay, either way, don't let anything I think stop you create a new page in the life you've given to me. You can hold, you can mold my phone heart, so it reflects the light you show. So I grow into who you made me to be. It's okay.
It's very, very, very simple. I just did one lead sound, one lead vocal throughout the entire time, and then it gets doubled in the chorus, and then there's like small bits of harmonies in different parts of the ends of the verses and some parts of the chorus. So here's some of the harmony, like one of the harmonies.
Create a new page in the life you've given to me.
And it's chromatic to kind of add to what I've been doing with the chords as well. Here's another harmony.
So that's where you're gonna find me.
And here is another harmony.
Oh, that's where that came from.
And there's also this vocal chop thing, which isn't really a vocal chop. It's just a very textured vocal that I used as a like section between the verse and the chorus. And that is the whole song.
You can mold my heart, so it reflects the light you show. So I grow into who you made me to be. It's okay.